A very good morning and welcome to the 41st edition of the Marcialonga for the second chapter of the 2014 Swix Ski Classics. Well, no doubt this is a venue rich in history as well as beauty and character in abundance. No surprises to hear all the competitors absolutely love to ski here. After La Daganella made its debut 2 weeks ago on the circuit, it is a welcome return to a ski classics event that certainly is familiar to most of the skiers, and the challenge ahead is a 70-kilometre classic technique with a steep incline including a 37-kilometre sprint technique. The enthusiasm for cross-country skiing in the north of Italy has remained over the years, and the residents are rightly proud of housing this event that starts on the plain in a delightful village of Moena and ends on the delightful heights of the Cavallese. Well, my name is Errol Creary and I'm absolutely delighted to say that joining me in the commentary box today for this event is Krista Skog, the former head coach of the Swedish, American as well as Great Britain cross-country skiing teams. Krista, welcome. And we certainly saw a surprise with Rickard Ternell winning La Daganella on a course that was new to everybody, a different proposition this time around. On a circuit familiar to most, your expectations for the race ahead?
Marcialonga is one of the classic races in the long loppet circuit, and it's Vasaloppet and Marcialonga. And now today, when they have such a great condition, it's -4 degrees now, and it's fast tracks, some snowflakes in the air that maybe it's going to be tough for some of the skiers that's choosing clisters on to ski fast. You're going to see many of the top skiers that are not using any grip wax at all. They just double pole the whole course, 70k.
But as it is at the moment, it is Rickard Ternell who is holding that yellow vest.
And his brother is just behind there with start Beb 176. He has been winning the Vasaloppet 3 times, and he's actually 3.7 seconds total time before winning it 7 times.
The 2014 Marcialonga here in Italy is up and underway.
There's a lot of team-centric skiers on top, and there we have a couple of falls, but it's tough here to start with.
A lot of skiers jostling for position to give themselves the advantage and get themselves in the ascendancy. A lot of bodies on that start line. Already we saw coming together for a couple of skiers.
And I saw Jens Eriksson was up there. He could be really strong today. He has been doing well in the Swedish Championship, but mostly in sprint, and also he did well in Tour de Ski. We haven't seen any girls yet to see how they go. It's interesting is with the girls if Vibeke Skofterud is on the start line.
Before the women, there are 2 on the start line for Team Coop this year.
There we see one guy in the red that doing the diagonal technique, but most of the others are just double poling these uphills.
Well, once again we see what a delightful view it is from the helicopter, and even the race starting this early, spectators, as they always do here, have come out in good numbers to see the race.
That's amazing when they come through all these small villages with people everywhere.
It was in fact a member of Team Ski who was on the lucky end of that collision. If there was to be a collision, certainly it is the best time to have it at the start of the race when your energy levels are still high.
Yeah, and you also have your people around you that can help you and give you a new pull if you break something. It's harder when you're out on the track if you break a pole, especially now when some of the guys are just double poling. If you lose your pole, you can't go forward. And it looks like it is Rickard Ternell that doing the same as he did in La Daganella. He's in the lead from the start.
Well, we did touch on in the interview a couple of days ago that he has that yellow vest and he's determined to keep hold of it. And as we saw in Switzerland, Rickard Turnell, who is out in front in the leading pack as we speak.
And of course now the other skiers have more respect for Rickard. They know him before, they nearly didn't know who it was. He has been like 22nd in König Ludwig Lauf a couple of years ago and top 30 once in the Vasaloppet. But they know, everyone knows about Daniel Turnell, but now Rickard Turnell is the one that are in the lead. That's extremely fun. But this year he has shown that he has extremely good shape. He has been training well the whole summer, healthy. They also have trained, Daniel and Rickard Turnell has trained together with the Auckland brothers. They have been to Spain for roller skiing and they have been cycling down there, and it was a really hard training camp when they trained nearly 30-35 hours in 1 week. And maybe that has been giving Rickard a toughness to be doing what he did in La Diagonala, and also have much more self-confidence now. So it's a group of going away with maybe 50 people, and that's all like the top skier from the best teams that are in that group.
Well, buoyed by the confidence of that victory in Switzerland, and as well the Auckland brothers coming into the race today, one suffering from flu and one with a shoulder injury. That will certainly give Rickard Turnell more impetus to perhaps secure another victory here today.
Yeah.
Different course as it was to Switzerland.
A totally different course. I mean, this special, as I said before, with this 18k uphill. It's slightly uphill now when you're going uphill, but you have some 2-3 really steep part, and that's going to be so crucial for Rickard Turnell and Daniel Turnell and Jürgen Auckland that goes without grip wax. And it's going to be so interesting to see if some of the top guys like Jürgen Brink and Anders Auckland, if they have put it on that today. These pretty sharp corners here, and this is dangerous if you're many because you can break a pool. But that seems to be, and it's around 50 people now in the leading group. And now it's not Rickard Turnell any longer that are in the lead.
What a delightful, tight and narrow village they're about to ski through now. Slight climb up from the starting line at Moena. At the 8 kilometre mark they will go through another picturesque village of Posa before they get on the real toughest, grueling part of the course, the Kanazai course, the 18 kilometre mark where the sprint does in fact start.
It's Roger R. Djupvik from Team Coop. Team Coop, I think they're going to go really hard today because they didn't have such a perfect race on the first race. But now maybe this is the day for Team Coop. And Djupvik is going with grip wax on. So that's going to be advantage for him the first bit of 18k, but then he's going to lose probably because you have not such a great glide if you have grip wax on when in the downhills.
It is clear to see by the pictures, Krista, what a very narrow course it is. Certainly the skiers will look to be offensive if they can today. A high-speed course with a lot of double poling today.
Yeah, and see also just behind Rickard is Daniel Turnell. Behind him too, and it seems like it is, but it's 4 Team Coop skiers in the leading group, and it's start to split up already a bit. This is interesting, so quickly. It's like 10 people up in the front.
Well, Team Coop certainly looking for better luck here today. Had no such luck in La Diagonella. Captain Oscar Svard unfortunately had to withdraw, as well as Lucas Bauer.
Yeah, Lucas Bauer is going for, he hasn't been such a good shape after the Tour de Ski, and now he's preparing an altitude before the Sochi Olympics.
Again, the lead has changed hands here at the front of the pack. The Russian marathon team looking to guide the skiers uphill here at the front, and they had good success with regard to the women's event at La Diagonela with Larissa Shaidurova of Russia gaining 170 points and coming in second place behind Bonner.
It's Igor Sorin. I actually never heard about him before. He has not been in the World Cup circuits and never been up in the top of the skiing in this long lop circuit either, the ski classic. But maybe it's his days now. And here is the valley, the Fassa, that we're going to ski up and turn around back again to Vienna, that where the start was. I think it's a bit interesting that it seems like it's split up so early. I didn't expect that, honestly.
Well, certainly a lot of the skiers in the post-race interviews were touching on the fact how aggressive they'll look to be from the start, and so it has proved so far. That leading gap, trying to maintain that gap.
Yeah, but it seems like it's closing up a bit now when it comes to the steeper part. That is what now they are into the first part that are really steep. And of course Djupvik here, who's in the lead now, has an advantage of that he has grip wax on. But as we heard before the start, that it is some snow in the track that make it hard with the glide for them. So it should close up the gap when it's downhill. And it's soon coming to a short downhill. You see they stand outside the track because it's better glide outside than in the track, and that's pretty normal when you have some snow in it. It's faster where they're just behind the ski-doo.
We're still a long way off from the start of the sprint points of the circuit. John Christian Dahl, of course, the winner of the sprint at La Diagonela, currently has the green vest. Most of that sprint on this Marcialonga circuit is downhill. How much of a difference will that be for the skiers going downhill on the sprint as opposed to uphill at La Diagonela? Certainly a case of calm before the storm, as we're now at the Pozza stage of the circuit, and this is where the real hard work begins to set in for the skiers. All the way uphill to the Canazai.
And still the sprint leader are up there, and Rickard Tunnell, the overall leader, is up there. And now Auckland's coming up. So maybe it's not so big problem with Jürgen's shoulder. I haven't seen Anders Auckland yet. This is a time for him. This is a part of him of the race where he should really go fast. But it depends on what they've been thinking before with the tactics in the team.
There on the helicopter view we do see a couple of team-centric members in the middle sector of the pack. If that were to be the Auckland brothers, still plenty of time for them perhaps to make their move.
Yeah, it is. And here you see the map, and also on the GPS you see where Serena Bonus seems to be leading for women's race, and Nyström is behind, but so we don't see Vibeke Skofterud. Maybe she didn't start.
Susanne Nyström, 140 points, and stands in place 3 as we speak in the women's race. Bonner, of course, 200 points from that victory at La Diagonela.
And Serena can't be so extremely sick when she can have the lead so early in this steep part. I mean, it's impossible if you have a flu or something. Rickard Tunnell is up there. He's not going to win the sprint, and I'm a bit happy for that actually, because I think that would be stupid of him to go for the sprint in this stage.
While we touch on the fact of sprint, the current holder of the green vest, John Christian Dahl, is right there in the mix. And there he is, he's made his move.
Yep, there he is.
Right on cue. He's got that vest and he still wants that vest at the end of this race, and there he is.
And we also saw number 11, Jens Eriksson, was it, on the third place. Or fifth place now.
Certainly the excitement really is building here. He said he was going to fight tooth and nail to keep hold of that green bib.
I actually put my money on Jens in this state. Now he's moving. I think he has a good chance to win the sprint, and seems like he wants to win the sprint. There he's coming on the outside. Now he's third, now he's second. And now it's between Jon Christian Dahl and Jens Eriksson.
Well, Krista's money is on the table. We'll see if that money is still on the table at the end of the sprint. It will in fact be concluded at the Lago di Tercero, the end of the sprint. It's only just begun and they're all jostling and fighting for position.
He doesn't have a perfect position now, Jens, but as I said before, he's an old ice hockey player, so he maybe can make his move here soon. So it's Resak, Dahl, Eriksson, and number 152. And then you still have this Claes Nilsson in the fourth place, fifth place. Normally it could be like a gap here when it comes to sprint, because some of the skier doesn't want to spend energy to be in the sprint, and then it could make. Now Jens is doing another move. He wants to be up there. He really wants to win this sprint.
He does, and you do, Krista, as there's money on the table.
Dahl is strong. I mean, he is a sprinter, and Jens is a sprinter now too. I mean, he's done well in sprinting, but more actually in skating sprints than classical sprints. Now we see what happens in the downhill before the uphill. It's between Jon Christian Dahl and Jens, and I lost my money.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, he was second, Dahl first. Oh, wasn't not Jens Eriksson, number 11. Pearson Team Coupe. Nilsson, Claes Nilsson, fifth place. That's really amazing. Rickard Tunnell, 11th. Bill Impola, another young skier from Sweden. It's up there. Jimmy Jonsson is up there. And then maybe we're waiting here for the first girl, Serena Bonner. And here she's coming. Not too sick so far.
So far, so good for the current leader of the women's event.
And Tikhonova is only 6 seconds behind. So that's interesting.
When she won this race this time last year, she did so by a good distance. 3 hours 29. Second place, Laila Kveli in 3 hours 31. And an hour gone, we're at the 1/3 part of the race. And even though she's been suffering with flu, Bonner showing what a fighty, gutsy skier she really is. Leading the pack around here on a very demanding circuit. It's a tough ask.
Laila Kveli, third place. But it looks like it's going to be a race for Bonner again. It depends on how strong Tikhonova is in the last part. And Serena has a lot of experience on this type of race, and I think that is important to have. And that's why the age is so high in many of the top skiers. because you need to ski those races. You need to know the course. You need to know where you should do the attack if you want to, and you really need to know everything around it, where the drink stops are, and it's not a drink stop where you get a drink. Bonner and Tichonneau are still in the same group. This is fun. This is interesting when the girls. It's a so tight race in the girls' race. I think it's not so exciting when someone goes away 2-3 minutes before the start, and then you don't see anything happen. But here, and I think the quality in the women's race start to be better and better for those long distance races.
Race it has been so far. Good to see this man Jürgen Auckland make his move to the front. He's bided his time patiently. The winner here last year, as well as 2012, and a 5th place finish in 2011. The winner of last year's Ski Classic certainly looks ready to strike and make his move. Well, I said it was Jürgen, it was in fact his brother Anders, currently ranked #1. What a year it was for him in 2002. Olympic gold in the Salt Lake City in the 4x10 kilometres for Anders Auckland. Of course, it would be another feather in the hat if he were to win here. 3 times the winner of the Vasaloppet. He wants that yellow jersey, of course. And it is Rickard Törnell of Sweden, as we speak, who is holding it. .7 kilometres to go, Krista. We've just seen Anders Auckland make his way to the front. His brother bided his time, currently in 5th place, and is this the time that he is going to make his move? There they are.
It's Rickard Törnell, and it's Jürgen Auckland, and it's Anders Auckland. We don't see so much from Team Coop that I expected. It's Christopher Callison from in the tiger suit, and Bryntesson is still up there. He wants to be in the group. I think they now, some of them, the guys who want to win the race, like the Auckland and others, they are preparing a tactic to go away, and then we have the same time skiers that want to win the sprint that are up there. So this is an interesting part of the race here now. Something's going to happen soon.
Well, let's hope so. It certainly is. All the big players on the men's side just beginning to make their move. And here is the current leader of the women's race. And it's fantastic. Will she be able to hold off the challenge of Sarana Bonner? And there, just shortly behind her, is Bonner. She's got her in her sights.
Tough for her to be in the front. But she doesn't want to stay behind, because this part of the race, it's really an advantage to stay behind someone else.
Team's plan so far have been the biggest surprise package of this race. Without being disrespectful, it would be a major surprise to see them hold on to this lead. So many big players and previous winners here still in the hunting pack. Krista.
Yeah, there's stadium.
Fantastic. So many memories of this wonderful stadium.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories there, because in '91 I was one of the coaches for Swedish team, and we had a lot of gold medals with Gunde Svan and Tony Mogren. And then 2003 I was the coach for Martin Kokal, who won the 50k gold. And last year actually was down there. I was a coach for Denmark. I helped them just during the World Champ, and it was really fun, and the guys did quite well down there.
Well, there we are, viewers. It is absolutely conclusive. My wingman for the day. Certainly couldn't be better. Has a CV to match most here. You know this course at the back of your hand, Krista. Here we are, fast approaching the 55-kilometre mark, the end of the sprint finish.
Oh, that was a fall, I think. Something happens with some of the skiers down there. Jürgen Brink, who is in hopefully in this leading group, 2003, he had a bronze medal in the 50k too. He was in the Swedish team that went out in the last leg in the relay in the first play, but then he lost to Norway. He got extremely tired.
Well, here we are, just
Resak is up there again.
Fantastic. The start of the second sprint, the Lego Tesoro, 55 kilometres now. More points and prizes up for grabs.
There we had Jürgen Aukland.
If you have just tuned in and missed the first sprint, it was won by the current leader of and wearer of the green vest, John Christian Dahl. We have the start of the second sprint. It's an odd team leads player currently out in front.
Jimmy Olsson was up there and Jens Eriksson. But have you seen Aukland at 21st place, 14 seconds behind is Jürgen. Jürgen Brink is 23rd, Oskar Svärd is 15 seconds behind. Bill Impola, young skier for Sweden, is doing well here now, 19 seconds behind. Martin Kokal, 31 seconds behind. He was 30 behind before, so he's doing well now when he's on his stadium where he has big glory 2003. And Daniel Tunnel second in the sprint. That's amazing, and that's good. It shows that he's in good shape now.
It's been that kind of race, Krista. It's been surprises sprung wherever we've looked, wherever we've seen.
Is it Resak again? He always like to be in the front, Resak, and he can see, same in Vasaloppet, you always see Resak, and he is not the tactic skier that he stays behind. He goes for it whenever he can. It looks like Jerry Arlin is up in the top there now, if my eyes are right. We haven't seen so much from him during the race. And now Tikhonova is in the stadium. She's not far behind the leading group of men. Actually, there was not a long time ago since they were there.
And that clock is ticking down, and we're going to see just what that gap is from Tikhonova to Bonner.
And hopefully now we're going to see who's third and who is fourth in the women's race.
And what a race the Russian has had today, Krista. She's overtaken a huge amount of the men. And is she on course to beat that time of 3 hours 29 by Bonner last year? She's certainly looking good to do it.
.1:56 now. It's more than 2 minutes lead for Tikhonova. So even if she gets extremely tired in the last uphill, I think she's gonna win this race. Excitement now in the women's race is who's gonna be second and who's gonna be third. Team Coop Serrana, she's second, 2:14, so she lost another 20 seconds.
Oh, that is incredible.
6.5k to go.
Incredibly
Or is it
exciting.
Jürgen Aukland that has to get a gap now?
Excitement
Looks like
building,
that. Daniel
building,
Tunnel is
building.
second, is Jürgen Aukland went away here.
Well, there is a gap
Now
there.
it's interesting. And there's 3 team-centric behind Daniel, so it's 4 team-centric skiers in the top 5.
Will it stay that way? The excitement is building here in this race. Just over 6 kilometres to go here. The spectators have come out in good numbers and they expect to see an exciting finish. Let's hope so.
Yeah, and Jürgen is really trying to go away now. And Daniel try to catch up. It's going to be tough for him because Jürgen is also really strong in this part of the race. No, it's not Jürgen, it's Simon Östensen. Simon Östensen, who is a good normal skier too. I mean, normal, what I mean is World Cup skiers. And he's going to be strong in the uphill, Simon.
Well, he's had a quick look over his shoulder. He's been brave enough to try and open a gap there. Can he maintain it?
Well, maybe he's just doing this now to help the Auckland brothers. If he goes away, then he knows that Tunnel has to go really fast to catch him up, because Auckland, Resak and the other Auckland, they don't have to do any work now. They can just save the energy, and now this is a really clever move of the Team Centric. Because the only thing he can do, Daniel, now is to try by himself to catch them up.
2 minutes, 2 hours, 52.03 so far. 5.5 kilometres to go. 2 hours 58.21.3 was the winning time this time last year. Jürgen Auckland.
Here's those sharp corners I talked about before when they're passing this river. This looks really good for Team Centric.
They had a disappointing race at La Daganella and they're looking to put the record straight here. 1, 2, 3 was the finish for Team Centric last year. And it's surely up to one of the Tunnel brothers to try and sandwich between them and get himself on the podium as well.
By himself, and doesn't get any help at all, of course. I mean, they're clever guys from Norway, sometimes. Yeah, this is good from Simon Östensen. 4 seconds behind now Tunnel. Of course, I'm a bit excited of this because I'm the coach for Tunnel, has been there for 6 years now.
Well, the brothers you certainly know well, they're close to your heart. It is at the moment 4.9 kilometres to go. It is a Norwegian skier who's out in front for Team Centric of Norway.
Yeah, you see that. And then also Jimmy Jonsson is, I think Jimmy is in their group in Team Centric. Last weekend it was a race in Sweden and it was Jimmy Jonsson was winning that race. Just sprint finish with Daniel Tunnel. And Rickard was 4th in that race. And Jimmy has done a clever race tactically. He has been up there and
as I said, it's only now at the latter stages of this race that we've mentioned his name. Getting closer and closer to the finish. 4.6 kilometres to go. Team Centric looking good to win this race, but still there is a lot that can happen.
I wonder if it's the same tactic as the Tunnel brothers tried last time, that Rickard should go away and then easy for Daniel, and then Rickard won, and maybe it could be the same here now. I believe that Simon was the one that going to make this move and then to help for the Auckland brothers, but now it's a chance because it looks like the gap is getting bigger and bigger, and now they have catch Daniel, and of course if he let some of the other guys from Team Centric go up in the lead to help him, they don't do anything. They just try to slow down Daniel and want Simon to win. It need to be that Jimmy Jonsson comes up and help Daniel if they're going to catch Simon Östensen. And Jim is not doing that so often. He is a tactic skier. He doesn't want to spend any energy to do something hard work there. It's not like Daniel. He is, some people could say he's stupid sometimes, but he's really strong, and that's when he has been winning the Vasaloppet it always has been that he goes away and he goes really fast for 5 minutes and then go easy and then go fast again. He's never stayed just behind someone and try to win the sprint.
As we speak, we are looking at Norway's Østensen, who has first place finish in his sights as well as taking over the yellow vest from Rickard Turnell. There it is.
2:56 now.
Well below the time of last year, which was 2:58.21.3.
Two United Bakery and it's two Team Centric. It's only two teams now. You see Anders Aukland down in the hill too.
Another look over the shoulder there for the Norwegian. We're under 1 kilometre left to go. The final hurdle here for the skiers to navigate before we find out who are going to get all the points as well as prizes here. The Team United Bakeries have done well here so far today. They're going to get a huge amount of points once again, perhaps enough to keep themselves at the top of the leaderboard. Right here, right now, we are looking at the current leader, Simen Østensen, in front of Norway, Team Centric.
He looks stronger again now, Simen. He had a bad part there, but now he's looking good again. It's not so far now to the end, and it's not so steep any longer.
Well, he's certainly got a second win from somewhere, and it looks like he's done just enough to secure a lead and a win here.
He soon goes in Cavalese. 13 seconds.
There he is, he comes round another sharp corner again, the Norwegian Simen Østensen, to a rapturous round of applause here at the Marcialonga. The spectators have come out in full force, and this man certainly has put on a good show. As you've said, Krista, he's timed this lead to perfection. Look at that, how tight is that for the second, third and fourth place here.
Jon Christian Dahl is a good sprinter, but it's different to sprint when you have been skiing 70k than to sprint just for 1.5k.
And there it is on the final straight here. Norway's Simen Østensen of Team Centric is going to be the winner of the 2014 Marcialonga, and it is a win he fully deserves.
Yeah.
And how pleased is he with that win. Fantastic race there by the Norwegian, and it is going to be a tight finish here for second. Jon Christian Dahl here in the mix, but it is going to be a 1-2 perhaps for Team Centric. No! It is Jon Christian Dahl of the United Team Bakeries, in fact, did enough to get a second place finish. And Jørgen Auckland for Team Centric, a close third, but what a race it has been here today, and what a finish, Krista.
Yeah, and 4 Norwegians in top 4. They have really showed out Norway how big and how good they are as a ski nation. Not only in the World Cup circuit, even in these long loppet races.
Well, he's still on his feet. What a victory. All the other 3 skiers inside the top 4 are flat out on their backs, but what a race and what a finish.
And the Auckland brothers won the battle between the brothers today. Brink was 8th, becoming a good team lead at the end. Resak 7th. And here comes extremely tired Daniel Tunnel in the top 10 place again, second in a row. Now it's 9th for the last race and now it's 10th. But also twice now this year has been new winners. I mean, last race was Rickard Tunnel and today was Simen Østensen. Good for this ski classic circuit.
Well, it certainly has. The first 2 races of the season have been excitement all the way from start to finish. Unfortunately for Rickard Tunnel, he will have to hand over that yellow vest to the winner here of Team Centric, Simen Østensen, in the next race in Germany next Sunday.
First coupe was Jimmy Jonsson, in 13th place.
It was it's quite much snow the first almost 40 kilometers. So the race was quite slow until Predazzo. So there were really many skiers in the group and a bit chaotic. But from there it was quite fast conditions and higher speed. So I think there were quite many skiers that had pretty much power left in the end. So I got a gap a couple of kilometers before Molina and just went for it. So I was in the bottom of the last hill here. I was not sure at all, and I thought maybe the guys would catch me up, but last kilometers I was pretty sure I was gonna take it all the way in.
But she was closing up a bit now in the uphill, I believe. She lost a lot on the flat, but now seems like Serrana going faster than Tichanova up the hill here.
Well,
as it had been from start too, but was not enough uphills for her.
That's where she bridged the gap last time, but perhaps she's running out of kilometres at the moment, Bonner. Shall shortly see.
And who is third? That's going to be interesting. It was pretty close between Laila Kveli and Annika Löfström. But still, Tichanova is strong. I mean, it's still uphill here, as you see, and she can double pull.
Well, how about that for view for the residents here as we're approaching the finishing line, the Cavalice. Have your morning coffee and breakfast, etc. Open up the curtains. And there is a ski classics race in procession, and we're about to have the women's race almost done here. And what a worthy winner it will turn out to be, if indeed it is Tichanova, as it's looking likely.
In Cavallese lives Franco Nones, who was the first man from Middle Europe to win a big race when he won a world champs in the 60s. And he has a hotel and he has sports shops here, and he had done a lot in this valley to do advertisement and for the cross-country skiing.
Well, what an advertisement, as you've touched on it has been for an Italian ski circuit, and what an advertisement it has been today for the Swix Ski Classic. Hats off to David Nilsson, the CEO of the Ski Classics. This race has been fantastic in the extreme.
It has really helped, I think, the long loppet races that they started this Swix Ski Classic. To TV coverage, more money into the sport, and to start to build up this, to work with teams instead of from nations. I think it's really good for the sport.
Well, she's almost there now, Tichanova. The pain, the agony, the sweat, blood and tears, all put down by the Russian with regard to practice and training, is about to be brought to fruition if she were to secure a victory. Fantastic for the supporters here. They can reach out and almost touch the skiers. Those Italian flags are hanging proudly off the balconies, but unfortunately for the Italian teams here, with regard to the men's race, they were unable to give the supporters something to cheer about. But nevertheless, it has been a fantastic spectacle, and one all of us have enjoyed.
And 70k of man-made snow.
Fantastic.
It's good work for this. Always good to organize races down here in this valley or in whole Italy.
And here she is now, Tichanova. 3 hours and 27 minutes of a hard grind here for the Russian skier. It's about to come to an end. The next question now is, will she beat last year's time of 3 hours and 29 minutes?
Here she comes.
The last corner has been safely navigated by the Russian. The cheers are getting louder and louder by the spectators here at the Marcialonga. And you can see the smile etched all over her face as she knows that she is going to win this race here, and deservedly so. And she does so by smashing last year's winning time. And how delighted is she. What a race by the Russian, and what a major coup here for the Russian marathon team as they've secured victory here on the women's side. The 70 kilometres are over. And she looks as pleased as punch with that victory, Krista.
Yeah, fantastic. But she's not so far behind now, Serena. I mean, she is closing up in this steep uphill the last 2K. So she was over 2 minutes behind before, and now she's going to be probably under a minute. So good finish. And she has that we've seen the whole day that she's strong in the uphills, she's losing on the flat part of the race. It could be, I don't think it's from the cold, it's more like she has chosen to go with grip wax to start with. She doesn't have such a great skis or glide as Tikhonova had.
Unfortunately now for this lady Sorana Bonner, it has been a monumental effort, suffering from flu, to get a second place finish, but that yellow bib that she's wearing now will be handed over to Tikhonova in the next race. A second place finish here for Sorana Bonner of Team Coop, 1 minute and 9 seconds behind the winner.
She was over 1 minute faster in the last 2K than the winner, Tikhonova.
Then here it's what's going to be a third place finish here in the women's race. Not too far behind the second place, Sorana Bonner.
And it looks like Laila Kveli from Norway. She has had nearly the same gap the whole time to Serena.
It really is a fantastic vantage point for all the spectators here as they witness the movers and shakers and the winners and losers here at the finishing line of this race.
Annika Löfström, Sweden, third. That was a good race from Annika, really good race. So Russia, Switzerland and Sweden on the podium in the women's race.
How was this race, Julia?
Как была гонка, как прошла гонка?
Достаточно тяжело, но легче, чем я думала.
It's enough tough, but before the start, I think it will be more difficult, tougher.
Did you expect to beat Serena Bonner?
Ты ожидала, что сопротивление со стороны Боннер?
Я с ней еще не знакома. Первый раз мне получилось с ней бороться, и получилось выиграть у нее.
This is the first our competition together, and that is why I don't know how strong or not she is.
I felt right after the start that I just need to have a controlled race today. And I'm really happy that it was a second place at the end. I could kind of not push the limit, but for 70K it's maybe not necessary. It's good when you just have a good speed over the whole time, and that's what I managed.
We'll wait the finishes of the men's race, and there are the final results. A complete clean sweep here for Norway. The first 6 places taken by Norwegian skiers. Team Centric getting himself a first place finish this time, and also third on the podium in the former Jürgen Auckland, split by Team United Bakeries, John Christian Dahl, also the winner of the first sprint here at the Marcialonga. We once again enjoy the wonderful view, and look at the ski resort we have had on our hands here, as we now have final confirmations of the final results for the women. The Russian marathon team, headed by Julia Tikhonova, taking maximum points here. Sorana Bonner of Team Coop into second place. And Annika Löfström, a very surprising third place for Team Ski Pro-Am. Certainly, we can't reiterate what an enjoyable race it has been here today at the 2014 Marcialonga. And there is confirmation as we up sticks here from the delightful part of northern Italy to the even more delightful part of southern Germany. On February the 2nd, next Sunday, the König Ludwig Lauf, the third part of this 6-race ski classics 2014. But all that remains to be seen. From myself, Errol Creary, in the commentary box, as well as Krista Skoog from the 2014 Marcialonga, it is arrivederci.